over the summer commissioners in Scottsdale.
On this July 29th meeting of the Raleigh County Commission to order, please everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Last meeting of the month. We'll be in August already. It's been nice to get a little bit of rain this morning, but oh well. Plan on staying hydrated and cool this week because it's gonna get nasty. Start off with some public comments. Darren? I was assuming that. I guess you could have told me I was wrong.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm here on behalf of the REACH committee to present to you the employee of the month or just August, sorry. So that's the first half of the big long rap sheet here. Don't want to give it away right off. Some of these bad ones here. So this person joined the office that I belonged to back in 1989. Dedicated employee.
Say it's not Brian.
Very knowledgeable appraiser, experienced, worked for Riley County for 35 years. He's held the position of appraiser 3 commercial specialist in evaluating and assisting the county appraiser in 2005. Key player in statewide reappraisal, real property process in 1989. He's also been awarded the residential evaluation specialist and residential master appraiser professional designations. He also holds several other member of other several associations and organizations. He's currently the treasurer of the Northeast Kansas County Appraisers Association position and has held that for several years. He's been a volunteer for the elections for the county for quite a long time now. Danny has a strong work ethic and effort for the growth and development of the appraiser's office. Are admirable. We acknowledge his dedication and hard work to accomplish any given appraisal procedure. He has helped Anna find her footing by creating an open climate for discussion, collaboration, and encouragement. His completion of the substantial number of informal and payment under protest appeals must be acknowledged. Prior to the appraiser's office being fully staffed, Danny took on the responsibility of holding several hundred appeals. Due to his hard work, dedication, attention to detail, leadership, the appeals process were successful. His roles in the completion of these processes and certification of values to the state is immensely appreciated. He is an active team member and leader. He possesses the qualities that a team leader must have: communication, decision-making, role modeling, trustworthiness, patience, and the ability to inspire greatness to his staff. The effort describes a true public servant, exemplifies a team member ready to assist at any time in any way possible, always willing to go above and beyond to help others before himself. Through his behavior and personal integrity, he has shown his support to Riley County Appraiser's Office. He is appreciated for his extraordinary efforts and is a valued member of the appraisal team. Thank you, Danny, for your exemplifying the values of Riley County. So that we present you a plaque and then we will get you some movie tickets. Oh.
Actually, you actually could speak first if you'd like.
That was a rap sheet.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't have much to say, but it feels great to be recognized. I didn't think that was quite a bit. So, yeah. Thank you.
5 minutes worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get a picture with you here.
Okay.
Danny, if you go around back there.
Back this way.
Yeah.
Well deserved, by the way. Thank you. Punishment for winning.
Yeah. We don't fight, but it never looks good, so.
I think this is the best part of the whole thing. Okay, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Yep.
Just like that, but minutes.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Do you have any other public comments?
We're all here to see that.
Yeah, I know. I wish, but yeah, it never works that way. Anybody else with anything else? That's a hard thing to top this year, so. Yeah. Yeah, close off.
You have public comment, you need to go to the podium if you have public comment, ma'am.
I do have something to present to the county. I have,
Ma'am, your name and
oh, sorry, my name is Brandy Sutherland. I'm with Blue Valley Consultants. I live in the Sherman Township and kind of following the White Canyon subdivision issues. And I
Just so
think
you know, you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
I don't want to.
That's fine.
I'll tell you. When
that's fine.
15 seconds.
Okay, thank you. I have a potential problem with the Kansas Water Office Technical Assistance Grant Fund that's open right now. And just wanted to present that information to the county. The municipality that needs to apply could be the county or the township. And because it would be a county road that would need to be fixed, I just wanted to share those concerns, I guess, partnership opportunities to work with the township to get this grant application together and get some letters of support on those improvements that would be applying for with that grant. I don't know if you guys are aware of the grants. It's for rural communities, yes. Yeah, it's for rural communities, or communities with less than 2,000 residents or whatever have a higher opportunity or chance to win it. And so it doesn't make sense for the county to apply for it, but partnering with the township to get the application through. I just wanted to share that information with you guys. That's something that we're gonna be looking for passing through. If you guys want some information on that, I've got the plat in there and some potential roadway realignments in that area. And then I don't know if you have any questions about, I'm sure you've seen that the grant application, know what the process is. You guys worked with Keats to get that implemented, I'm sure. So I don't have a lot to share. I just was curious if you guys could give a letter of support to the township.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now, who did you say you were with?
Blue Valley Consultants. I can check card.
I didn't catch the end of it.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it's been a fund that they didn't really put any money into, and now they're starting to put some money for projects and stuff into, so it's good. Thanks.
I mean, the technical assistance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. My name's Dana Nadich. It's been a while since I've been here. I just wanted to speak on behalf. We don't have any formal organization in or any HOA or any kind of formal organization in White Canyon, but on behalf of the impacted landowners on the other side of the flood, We are in support of this. We're willing to write letters of support. I think this is an opportunity. The primary, where we left it several years back, just as a reminder, was to become a benefit district. We didn't have strong support of that. The landowners don't feel that we should have to pay for what was agreed to in a plat 60 years ago was a bad idea. So here's another solution to potentially get some funds and to move the road to high ground. We really need the county's support because there might be an eminent domain issue or something like that where the land has to be taken, but there are options that Ms. Sutherland has presented that would take it through unoccupied land without a home on it. And so this is a great opportunity where one has not existed to fund it. I know the county was in support of moving the road, but it was just where's the money's gonna come from. So we ask for your support.
This interesting time, Ryan Parker is our new deputy county counselor, and I just took him on a route.
Greg retired.
Yes, and took him out showing some of the problems, and we went out, we were up, in fact, hers is the house at the very end of the road. We drove all the way down through there and all the way up.
Were you in a Hyundai?
That was me.
That was you in my driveway. Yeah, I was home that day.
Oh,
Well, I'm very suspicious when people come up here.
I
was home, but I was not presentable.
They trespassed a lot that day on.
It's right all the way up to the garage, right? But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so we got someone.
You were just there, like last week.
Yes, very much.
Okay.
And the needs apparent.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of erosion and stuff, and yeah.
Had to drive through fast.
Did you see Ramp Road? The ramp is the road
That's the
that
one
has
that-
not been officially condemned,
That
but
I said there used to be a road there,
Yeah.
but it flooded and they never,
Oh,
yeah.
never cleared it.
but the Knolls, they have a tractor and my husband and Lance have cleared trees and the deadfall that was on there and they pushed it off, so people do go in and out of that, it's just grass, but
We didn't try that direction.
yeah.
15 cents.
Yeah, so we just asked for your support and you have, she will have the support of the. Yeah, so I don't know where we go from here, but Ms. Sutherland could be helpful with the application.
Okay.
She's had 2 successful applications.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Clancy, how does that work since that's not in a taxing district or an unincorporated?
Well, again, it was, as she correctly indicated, it was not that the county didn't want to do something, it was just a matter of how's it gonna be paid.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, but
There's
that's what I'm wondering.
well, the township.
Township can do it.
no, it's worth looking at.
Have you talked to
Sure.
the township? Because you'll need to get, of course, their blessing.
Right, I've talked to all the property owners or most of the property owners in the area. And most of them are in support of it. I have no contact information for the township, and information isn't available. So I'm just gonna knock on their door.
You can go over to our office, Riley County Clerk's office.
Okay.
Joe there can get you all the township
That would be
officials'
great.
names, addresses,
I
and
got
phone
their
numbers.
addresses, but I don't have their phone numbers, and I'm like, man, I don't wanna just knock on someone's door, I don't wanna get shot.
Because they are a separate elected body and it's a separate elected.
Right, so I already talked to the Kansas Water office to ask and make sure that they would be an eligible entity because it had to be a municipality, and because they are an elected body, they are an eligible entity, so that was my next step, but because it is a county plat, I needed to make sure you guys were in support of it and would provide a letter of support before I move forward with the application.
You know where else at, right, Dana? It's next building over.
Yeah.
On first floor, left-hand side.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Across from the treasurer's office,
Uh-huh.
ask for Joe, he has all their names and contact. What was your last name again, Dana?
Nada.
Natish, okay, yeah, so go over there and they get you that information, and Clancy, I'd imagine, will put the board on a letter of support from the board, sure.
This all the time.
Thank you.
Letter of support for the application.
Yes.
I'm gonna close off public comments. and Move along, get business done this morning.
Oh, okay.
Start off with Commissioner McKinley.
What weekend, Thursday, Friday evening, I guess we went out to the fair, see the stuff. Always went in Auto Fall, and we can get in 10 feet for a half hour because everybody who came by was somebody we knew. Friday afternoon, I met with the representative from the group contracting for coordinating our strategic planning retreat and discussed things about what I hope to see from the retreat. Had a good discussion. I think we got the right people. They seem to be asking the right questions. Look for that. The rest was just a weekend.
Okay. Well, Thursday evening, I went to the county fair, spent some time with the Democratic booth, which was right at the intersection of the vendors and the cow barn. So there were a lot of people that went by, and it was really a lot of people there. After that, I did walk through the cattle barn, and looked in on sheep judging, looked at some exhibits in Potter Hall, and big crowd at the rodeo. The carnival is going really strong. Everybody's down there at the rodeo. So it was really a good evening. Friday morning, I took a tour of the Manhattan Area Technical College's new facilities with Jim Gant and Barry Watts. Really impressed with the new facilities and what they're going to offer to the area employees, employers throughout the region. So after that, I came downtown, spent some time in the office going over today's agenda and documents, and then I followed up on emails and looked at the upcoming calendar. Later that afternoon, I came back to the office, had a meeting with Molly Saunders, the project manager with Shockey Consulting Services, who's facilitating our strategic planning retreat in September. And then, kind of a catch-up weekend at home.
Okay, well, Friday afternoon, I had a meeting downtown here with Brian Parker, Deputy County Counselor, and Brent Haberkamp from Pawnee Mental Health to discuss a county-based resolution that grant legitimacy to the Area Mental Health Task Force. And for about almost a year now, they've been kind of working on some rebranding and trying to figure out what direction to go and how to kind of be that kind of one-stop shop per se group everybody can kind of filter into, but you just don't really have the legitimacy to do that. So Brandon and her staff's going to come in and give us a presentation on the subject here sometime soon, and we'll figure out where to go from there. But I'm looking to get that support from both the city and the county so they can be kind of legitimized and work with the other groups, including Pawnee and the hospital and RCPD and courts and everything else to really build a good, strong foundation here. I too on Friday met with Shockey Strategies, our strategic planner, retreat consultant, to discuss some things in relation to September's planning retreat and what I hope to get out of all of it. Had a really good dialogue and conversation. I really, you mentioned it too. I really came away feeling good about what probably lies ahead there. You can tell they've really done some real early legwork, and was more curious to see what a plan is going to look like and how we're going to facilitate it moving forward. We had a really good dialogue on that. Yesterday afternoon, I spent my time out at the county fair as well. Got the chance to judge the baking competition once again for the fourth straight year. Tyler Jackson from Manhattan Magazine joined me for the fourth straight year once again. He brought all of his radio equipment and set up there, and it really, really worked out. We had some ambiance in the background, and it was really well attended. I mean, there was a lot of people there. 23 entries for scones. But better than the 41 for cookies. But we took the Dolly Parton diet in advance, where you just take a small bite instead of like trying to eat half of one or something like that. So lows down on the carbs just a little bit there. But we had 23 entries, anything from your kind of traditional blueberry and lemon to we had one that was cheddar cheese and chive to one that was cheddar jack and sausage. I mean, you literally could have put like gravy on this thing and just had it for breakfast. It was amazing. This was the toughest one by far. Really, really was. You had a mixture of things. But fortunately, we only had one category, so there wasn't two categories to have to judge from. So you only had to pick two, a champion and reserve. Reserve had a Kai Spice. And this would be great for like the fall. You're drinking coffee or tea or whatever, and it was not over. You'd think it would be overpowering, but it really wasn't. It was really good. And the other one was basically your kind of British style Cheddar Bay. It tasted just like a Cheddar Bay biscuit from Red Lobster, which is kind of ironic considering we were joking about that we may have to take that and trade that in once it goes completely bankrupt and they can't make them anymore. You have to use that recipe instead. And they were just amazing because, like, you think of scones, you don't think of them like huge or anything, but some of these were massive and they were like cooked all the way through. Like people knew what they were doing here, and it kind of, you wouldn't think that, but we got some people who know how to bake around this area, without a doubt. That's for sure. So yeah, and then afterwards, I took the time to kind of walk around. I ran into the same thing where I ran into just about everybody I knew there. But I did get a chance to look at the livestock. They look in much better shape this year than last year due to the weather. Yeah, the cows in particular.
Yeah.
And just kind of walked around the vendors. It's kind of breezy yesterday. Watched one of the tents go up and go out and go across.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. So is what it is. And then I stopped and grabbed a burger and some chips and stuff on my way out. That's pretty much it for me.
Ready for business, commissioners?
Yep.
The first item we have, the motion to approve extension of contract with Howie's Enterprises, Inc. for the Riley County Trash Services.
I trying to remember increase wise.
There's no
The same
increase
price.
this year.
That's what I thought.
Last year
Okay.
they had increased.
It increased substantially last year, and we kind of were thinking about going a different direction if I was.
Yeah, I think we went, took it back out the bid and they still.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion to sign and approve the contract with Howie's Trash Services.
Second.
Okay, it moved and seconded to sign and approve the contract with Howie's Trash Services Incorporated. All in favor?
Chair, please sign.
Good morning. Happy Monday. How are you? Good, good. I'm assuming that our
Elizabeth?
girl's not at work today.
Yourself on mute.
No, let's not tell her. Let's find out.
No, let's-
Elizabeth?
Hold on. I've got, hold on, I'll call you back.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
You're
I'm
not muted.
Sorry, I got off for Vivian and then just she asked me a question and I forgot to remute. Happy Monday.
Joys of technology.
We should have just let her go.
I lobbied for it. Nobody would do it. And I you people in your integrity.
Well, you probably would have ended up in the press tomorrow. Listening in on the conversation.
That was a lot more effort than it needed to be, but
Out on my trash services. It's just a phone call.
Yeah, for sure. Commissioners have several Riley County Employee Action Forms. Linda Glasgow, Curator in the Museum, Separation of Service. Sydney Wolgast, as needed Museum Assistant, Separation of Service. Danielle Banks, a new hire as an APRN, Health Department. Colin Cooper, new hire, temporary election worker, elections. Linus Urbanic, new hire, temporary election worker, elections. Nick Decker, Park Seasonal. Public Works, Separation of Service. Riker Nelson, Park Seasonal, Separation of Service. And then Taylor Shaw, Park Seasonal, Separation of Service. All three, please sign. Time for kids to go back to school.
getting close. The fall camp will start next week, won't it? Football camp.
Did you see Avery's new little car?
Yeah. Ain't that something?
No, I haven't
Took an
seen it.
already expensive car and he got a custom paint color on top of it.
What kind of car is it?
That, so
And it's lavender and
I
black.
haven't seen that.
My grandson's. He saw the car, but he didn't know what, they were up there. He
Yeah.
went by and saw him. He didn't know what was going on. He's going in and then got over there and said something. He saw it sitting there. It's pretty sweet.
That's usually one of those cars that you have to wait all your life, save up and to get. And now it's 2021 and it just falls in your lap.
Probably has.
Don't get
all
me
the
started, Commissioner
facts
Ford.
and everything on
They'll
it.
just get you set up for disappointment later in life.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
going hunting the first time and getting a giant deer.
Yeah.
And from then on, it's all downhill.
Yeah.
Every other hunting trip.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
I didn't know, my folks in the photo, my grandson taking some pictures. That's
Oh, really?
except the one that won the prize was his old Toyota when they got the prize. He didn't tell me because he's been complaining, it's all.
Yeah.
Hospital. It's an award-winning car. You got an award-winning car.
That's with all the grandkids in their first cars.
It'd be great if I could do something on that.
Oh, yeah. I need a tour in there. Haven't been up there for a long time.
Yeah, I haven't been down that road in a long time.
I just wonder on that though, the fact that we just got some money through that grant, is that gonna
Well,
make it easier?
township though, township, that's what I think helps not going through us, you know?
And I do know they define all those projects based off the county anyway, though. So,
Well, it should, it's a totally different project, so it,
but it's still in Riley County.
well, yeah.
They tried
You
to,
already got a chance.
yeah, we already got a pretty good chunk, so.
Yeah, we did.
It's worth a try, though.
Yeah, I would say try it.
Seen some already.
I'll mention it to Representative Titus who's working on that
Well,
committee.
especially in the application of say how much work we've done and the solution, we couldn't get someone
Yeah.
to agree to do it, kind of tell the story. And that was the huge difference on us getting the water. I still contend was that Zoom one-on-one call we had with all of those big wigs there and said, hey, here's the situation. And that's when things started moving for us.
Well,
Well, I know their plan is to keep adding money to that fund and trying to strengthen it, so that obviously helps it too. Yeah.
well, talking to the governor, it didn't hurt either. She kind of.
I think that's probably why we got the call, she probably said,
Well,
hey, look into this.
Look into this, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, we went at it from all directions.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. We were putting a full court press on everyone. Any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
No,
I didn't see any.
I move to approve the minutes of the July 25th meeting as presented.
I would second that.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as written from the Riley County Commission meeting dated July 25th. All in favor?
Aye.
Attendance okay, commissioners? Thursday is at Leonardville at 6:30.
Yep.
Any items for next week's press conference, commissioners?
No.
You do have Mr. Holman up next. At 9:00. Thanks, Michelle.
You can go ahead, Clancy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Clancy Holman, I'm the county counselor, and the activity project list through the most recent reporting period. And usual, anything new is in bold type and italics. That visit this morning on White Canyon, so once again, glad you have a little bit of historical information, so nobody's starting from scratch. And again, not that you're gonna get the whole picture, but on something like that, what we try and do is leave enough so that it doesn't have to be real from scratch. And certainly there could still be things figured out. It's not like the files in various offices or maybe it's some big issues, but it's a good example of why some of that. I don't have anything in particular I needed to point out to you. If you have any questions about anything that's on here or any other matter, I'd be glad to try to answer. Let me know. And if anything occurs to you later on.
Yeah, there, you talked in the first category. You talked about a new potential fence view.
Yes, I knew, I figured that would get your attention. It's more than a potential.
Well, it's summertime. It's 101-degree
That's when
temperature,
I
so
try to
that's
schedule.
probably.
Actually, that's when they come in.
Yeah.
That's kind of out there working.
So we can delay this till October.
So when is this? What is this?
Well, I need to find out from you when, I'm glad you asked that question. And it's one of the things I need to do is have you check your calendars, let me know what meeting day you want to do that. I mean, obviously, I think you'll want to do it on a meeting day of an afternoon. When it's as hot as possible.
Yeah, we could do it when it's cooler.
So, I know I've already got you looking for potential dates for a legislative conference, that's some distance off. But you might just take a look and decide when you might be available, given your various commitments for some afternoon. Maybe beginning next week, if you could tell me, starting then, give me some dates, if you would, that you'd be interested in going out for a fence. So normally, we schedule these, I think usually we end up scheduling them for 2 hours, depending on where they are. I'm told by the applicant on this one that most of it can be driven. Sounds good. Well, sometimes it's what they will drive is not something we're going to drive. Just depends on what it is. It's got some interesting issues in it. But I'll be bringing it back to you so you get a chance to take a look at it in advance before we go out there.
Who's this with?
I cannot remember the last name. I'm sorry.
Is it North County?
I'm sorry.
North County?
I think it is. It's a property that's the applicant's property is bounded by some other properties. As I recall, the applicant rents out pasture for grazing. And so there's always that initial inquiry. On the properties that surround you, are they being used the same way? If they are, there's no fence. If one or more of them are different, then that's where the fence view is, because you have to have a different use on each property. One can be crop, then the other has to be pasture. It doesn't matter which one. But they can't, for example, they can't both be used for cattle. In those circumstances, there's no fence view. Or both are crops. You can't have a fence. And I'll be sorting that out. Yeah, making sure. Did a good job in his application. We have a standard form that tries to draw out as much information as we can. And he's given that. Did a good job of filling it out, but I'll need some follow-up information that I can get from. So be thinking about what day you might like to go.
Are there any out-of-state people that might have constrained calendars?
I don't, well, that I won't know until I contact all of them.
Okay.
But so it's potentially having 3 different landowners that will be involved just in notice. Because what we always do as a matter of fairness, the statute is silent on this, but the practice is, okay, you're going to determine this, you want the other party to show up as well. And so you try and work with their schedules too. And the applicant indicates that his time will be flexible. I believe he's retired, so.
The nice was early in the morning this time of year, earlier than
If you want to use it,
afternoon.
you'll have to, if you want to do it on a meeting day, that's going to be the only issue. If you want to do it other than on a meeting day, you can go anytime you want. So it just depends on what you want to do with your agenda and what you want to do with the days that you're not here.
I have such a
There's no
job.
magic to it.
And when you can get off of in the morning.
I've been taking a lot of time off here lately, so. And I've been terribly busy, unfortunately, for this time of the year, but I think it's gonna start picking up. So.
Be thinking about it, and I'll ask you again on Thursday evening, might be.
What about a Friday morning?
Friday mornings, yeah, it's early in the morning, I mean, that would be good before it gets really hot in the afternoon.
Fine with me.
That's-
Is that, okay, is there one of the upcoming Fridays, like
I'll have,
next Friday?
I'll have to look at my calendar.
Yeah,
Okay,
me too.
do that, and then we'll talk Thursday. And I'm during the meeting, we'll figure it out. Thank you, and thank you for the question.
Mhm.
Bring it. That's all I had, unless you have additional questions. Thank you.
Commissioner, a bit of a break until the press conference.
Might be a good time to bring this up too while we're here. AUSA, just want to throw that out there on the table. I've been asked to go again, and I've said, yeah, but if anybody else wants to go, let me know and I can get the information to you.
Now, when is it?
Get asked that, we should.
Yeah.
I believe it is, well, we leave out here on the 13th of October and then come back on the 16th.
And it's in DC again? or-
Correct. We haven't had our initial planning meeting for that just yet, but it's coming.
I wanted to go last year, but I didn't think the two of us should.
Personally, I would tell you, I think all three of us should go for this one. It's that important, but I back off on that one.
It's something previous commissions have always held in high regards, of course, because of Fort Riley. And
Yeah.
like you said, Fort Riley, the full nest now, it's 16,000 they just reported, and that's how important it is to our economy. Of course, had Commissioner Mike Kearns, that was JAG,
Yeah.
and so he was highly supportive. Commissioner Bob Boyd was extremely supportive, and so because of our community, this commission always has. I know the chamber and the city, I believe, feels it's very important, as your federal legislators think it's very important. I understand the concerns with the cost as well, though.
But I would say on that, we're not above and beyond when it comes to travel costs. I think we keep our stuff in check, so.
It's up to the commission, but I don't.
I do
Agree with
plan on
Commissioner.
going, just because my work with NACO and the Veteran and Military Services Committee, and just with my relationship with staff there and on Capitol Hill.
The only thing is that Monday we have that, that's Indigenous Peoples Day where we have our
Employee Day.
employee day. That was good to go to, but.
So with the three of us, is something we can make both of them work. I think this is extremely important. That's why.
Yeah, it's right before the election, so it's.
Well, typically, that's in the midst of a break there, and the House usually isn't in session.
They're home
They're home
Exactly.
campaigning and
And I'm
everything.
gonna probably assume this, the Senate usually is, but
Will be out, a lot of them will be out too.
I probably this year with elections, I would say it'll probably be pretty empty up there. But we meet with staff and I tend to say, I like meeting with our federal representatives. I've found it's to get things done. It's better to work with staff.
Hey, when you get cynical.
Yeah, no.
That's my wife always said, if you want to find out what's going on in the school, talk to the secretary,
Yeah.
whether about the principal or
Yeah.
anybody else. So the secretary and the custodians know more what's going on than anybody else.
Mhm.
We're fortunate that our congressional delegation has some pretty good people working for it. They really do. Most of them are Kansans, most of them know exactly what's going on, so.
So if you want to go, Catherine, just let us know and we can work on arrangements for you too. But we just got to know so we can make appropriate adjustments.
Yeah, and I haven't reached out to Cindy yet, because I don't know what I don't know, I getting the idea from the original load that we're not staying at the same place. So, might wait just long enough to figure that out.
Just the earlier we know, the better for scheduling hearings and
Yes.
stuff when different departments need stuff. So we've blocked the
Well,
day.
fortunately, you just missed that Monday, and we're
Yeah,
already going
yeah.
to take that off.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah, not a big deal. I usually leave out Sunday morning and come back Wednesday afternoon. It's a pretty quick turnaround.
Just let us know.
I might want to go a little bit earlier.
We're thinking about that too, actually.
Yeah.
A couple of us are thinking about maybe taking a couple extra days.
Okay.
And going to Virginia and seeing some stuff and then coming to the district and doing it.
This is, I think, you know.
Well, my daughter's in Virginia, so she might come up for a run. That kind of thing. Juniors.
Okay, yeah.
But there's football too, I would guess.
Is it that ramp or that?
Saturday.
Weekend.
I guess it-
We're not, I mean, if you wanted to leave on a Saturday or
Clear back
something,
in.
but,
Friday or whatever.
if you remember 2 years ago, the night before I left, my grandmother passed away.
Oh, that's
Well,
right.
this one over
And that
here.
really made it challenging.
Ram Road, is one that's just a.
That whole month of October was
But
challenging.
no, we drove, went down through the hole and all the way up.
Okay.
Up to, you know, which is where that danger was here.
Okay.
But. Regular area, out here.
Mhm.
Now, this one, this road is, it only goes up here, this, and they're talking about, they're showing. Road out here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, different.
Yeah. So this is from,
This is, that's.
from the consultant.
Yeah, that's who they.
Okay. Can I just make a copy of it for you?
Oh, easy, I mean,
You sure? Okay.
I didn't have a question for it back here.
Sure. Yeah.
What are they doing outside on the door?
That is definitely a hammer drill.
And yes, it is. Industrial.
Yeah, I'll say what it is. It's interesting to be just up there. Like I said, and then yeah, well, you're in this back there too. And this is as Darnell drove in. She came pulling up stuff in the mailbox and was looking at us. And right then he said, I told her, oh, I haven't met her yet. I said, when I got out of the car, she saw who it was. Because I think she was going, okay,
That kind of reminded me.
what are you doing? Put her back in the boot. He's here.
Growing up as a kid, we were living in a pretty isolated area, and it's an event when somebody shows up you're not expecting.
Yeah.
To one degree or another. It doesn't mean it's always scary, just hey,
Yeah, there's
somebody.
So my wife thought when she saw those people now, she's like, who the heck coming down our road?
Obviously up to no good.
Yeah. And then she saw it, she knew it was no good, but she saw it was. But no, Brian, I found the back roads that day.
You probably have no choice if you want to make any progress.
It's looking like August, Fridays in August
Most of them okay.
are open, yeah, in the morning.
Okay, good to know.
Sometimes I work in the mornings, but we've been kind of slow.
All right, well, I'll bring back a day to everybody to say yeah or nay.
In September.
I don't think you need to go that far ahead. I think we can get it done in August. I think we should just shoot for that anyway. That way nobody has to commit to something that far off on your part.
Sometimes that actually works for me.
Yeah. Keep stuff from showing up.
One of the lemon scones.
Yeah.
That's my granddaughter.
I did see a name on that.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. We had some that do like lemon peel and lemon zest. I mean, there was just a whole transition.
Yeah, she said, but that's because they were out last night.
Yeah.
We were talking about him. My son said, you didn't bring grandpa one? She goes, oh, yeah, she still has them at home.
Yeah.
Usually she brings that.
Usually they just ask for a half a dozen of them at the bare minimum. And then what they do is after we're done, they'll sell them off for like $2 for $1 or something like that. And I think it just goes to the 4-H fund, but normally you don't, when you bake something like that, you don't bake 6, so. Or I wouldn't anyway, but.
She was saying, because the first one, I don't know what, she had one that she was trying. She got it done, but it was bad. She said, nope, it was trying a new thing.
And interesting when there was,
Got rid of it.
pumpkin spice, and it was almost like a biscuit type of, I mean, the British do more of a biscuit, the American version's a little bit more of a square or triangle. And,
I don't know, he was just now, well,
he went the other way.
he might have been taking those papers up to back to the office. I gave him those papers to give to Brian.
Okay.
Because this is a different path than what we were looking at
Yeah,
2 years ago. When we were looking at it.
it's like we were going up towards the north, this looked
Yeah,
like.
we're going north. This is starting in the middle and
Yeah.
just looping around, which makes it a lot shorter.
And when we discussed that in 19 originally, we were discussing it as an option.
Oh,
But you have they're gonna have to cut through a bunch of trees and stuff, which, but. You know, that it flooded up there originally in 19, that was the other option. And that's what they were using. There was a
trail.
a path or whatever, yeah. They were using ATVs and stuff to move around until it came down where they could get it cleaned up.
And I hadn't seen her in a while, but I had several meetings with Tina even before I was elected.
Yeah.
They were calling me.
Yeah, I recognized her when she came in, but.
No, I don't get those. I'll be better to grab that photo. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, it's
You able to get somebody from EM?
Yes,
Okay.
Russell's going to come down
Okay.
at 9:30.
Do you actually have a minute? Oh, speaking of. It'd be good to get that, I don't know. Yeah. Have to be makeup on that one. Do you want me to send over to Rich the initial agenda she sent to me?
Who?
Christian for AUSA.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I forgot that I had it still. There it is.
See, I know my daughter's coming here in October. It's for the KU game. I think that's.
That's it, yeah, so it's 20. 26.
That's all.
All right.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So much going on in October.
There's so much going on all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well,
October is usually events, conference events, that sort of thing.
so all these grant monies that we're getting, we have to send in itemization, what? Dollars.
Oh,
we
yeah,
have
for
to-
sure, what you're spending it on.
Yeah.
Mhm. Any grant, it's just like same with the ARPA funds, you know, how we gotta have it all obligated and there's all kinds of reporting that Brittany has to do on that stuff.
Yeah, it looks like she had some one.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, I get the same email every time on that.
Yeah, I get
Voting dates, because I have.
It always goes to whoever the chair is at the time that we initiate.
You know, on that one was in 21. I had to be the executor on that for the entire.
I remember that. Mhm. But
That's why I want to get it spent.
when it started,
Yeah.
you know.
Responsible for it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's, well, but is it gonna be the same thing for that, for the other grant that we're getting? Same thing. I didn't think they'd give us a full amount.
Close eyes on all that stuff.
On the actual appropriation we're getting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Be nice.
You're gonna have federal strings attached that you have to follow.
There'll be reports that we'll have to file on it. Well, we have Brittany do all that. Brittany and the department that the project is who works together with it, you know, John and Brittany or Amanda and Brittany and.
Okay, we're at 9:30.
I think Amanda was working on it.
Mhm. Yeah, she is.
I'm
I
happy to
didn't
go
know I
first
get
since it was
the
listed
email.
first.
Oh, well, gee, I hope everybody's got that.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Leva, Riley County Public Information Officer. Reminder that as in years past, the Riley County Board of County Commissioners will hold a regular meeting once each quarter in one of the smaller cities. These meetings are open to the public and will be held in the evenings in the hope that more people will be able to attend. For those not able to attend in person, meetings are broadcast live on the Riley County Commission meeting YouTube channel. You can find that easily through a search on YouTube. And we also provide a link from the Riley County website, rileycountyks.gov. The next county commission meeting this Thursday will be held at the Leonardville Community Building, 118 North Erpelding or Pelding, how do you pronounce? Erpelding.
I've heard people don't pronounce it.
I'd say Earl Pelding, but you know, whatever.
118 at the community building. Thursday, August 1st at 6:30 p.m. It's a great chance for people to meet local officials, share public comments, and get involved in the community. And you can find agendas, minutes, and rules for public comment during meetings also on our website. Thank you very much.
Is there, mayor, and he's there?
Yeah, she's like.
Good morning, Commissioners. Of course, you know,
I've never heard anybody really.
the primary election going on right now. Advanced voting is currently open. We're open 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to noon on Friday, and we are open this Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to noon. So, yeah, the last week before we always stay open that morning because we're generally have work preparation for the election. Then, of course, by state law, advanced voting is open on Monday, 7:30 a.m. We have to close by noon according to state law. Of course, all the polling places will be open on election day, Tuesday, August 6th, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Advanced voting has been rather slow. It is open, but it is going slow, and encourage people that do want to participate in the primary election, go out there and pull up their sample ballot. Your sample ballot's out there, your voting location, a map to your voting location. Just unfortunately, for whatever reason, there's not a lot of contested races on either party's ballot. So that definitely impacts participation and no special questions. So we are seeing the effects of that for sure. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Hey, Russell. So I was just looking because I was seeing you moving around and the shirt's awfully bright, so.
The shirt is bright.
Morning, Commissioners. Russell Stuckey, Riley County Emergency Management. Just gonna highlight the excessive heat warning that's been issued by the National Weather Service for this week and remind everybody to take the appropriate precautions, you know, wear the right clothing, stay out of the heat as much as you can. Stay hydrated, watch for the signs of heat stroke and heat exhaustion. We have listed on our website and on our Riley County website and Riley County Facebook page, 14 different locations throughout the county that people can go if they have air conditioning issues or just need to get out of the heat and can't do it at home or somewhere else. So you can go to the National Weather Service website and find weather information and precautions, and also find those same links on our county website and Facebook page. Thanks, Vivian. Any questions?
I mentioned keep your pets and kids out of hot cars, please.
Yes. So as you shouldn't any time of the year, but especially this time of year, don't leave pets or kids or anything else that might melt in your door. Because it is an oven. Thanks.
I left my phone one time in the car. 100-degree temperature. Didn't work for a long time. I had to take it out and cool it off. It finally came out. Came out.
Next Commissioner Amanda Webb at 9:40.
Take some of my phone in the garage and put it on through the night. But again, the city's popping up there.
Yeah.
They could probably really look at finding. And that would often, there's also. There isn't bad.
Oh, I bet.
Because it was raining so much.
Oh, my goodness, I haven't gotten that.
It's that's line is that we should get one. It's you got 600. That's to say.
Oh, okay.
And it's hard to.
Hmm.
First, it's like. The third time, but that's. We couldn't find it, we should have to look.
Now.
Look for it. Found it.
I'll tell you, that's really-
Even if it's so similar to the. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that works.
Crazy. Yeah, that's, I'm not happy with it. I mean, it's, you know, my messages, my voicemails are like a day later.
Yeah, that's why I. Can turn landscape within was going to extend on, we got to put it much on landscape, that was just one of the, it's really. It's 5 years old, so it's seen it over, but they say it's.
Yeah, I've got more updated, outdated ones here. It's, of course, they always update.
And I'm going to tell them this is one for last time. But it's time for. Really, man, this, and he was from the web. He was from everything on it, it's protection and also how much was going to be.
How much more?
With this. Phone plus protection. They go through it before. It's $30 to be sales, but it's very much. That machine point in was the thing, so. It has a problem, so. You know, for miles. Definitely for 18 years when I said number 20, we think that. Take out those half the price. That's 15,000.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 3-year
You
deal.
have to go, you know, you have to ask them what you time for the thing. But what about if it's that much? Well, do it this with all the great and say, I don't care.
Yeah. Just one that works. Huh. They probably need one to install those things.
Yes.
Lower rate.
Or they need to have one out there. Because our station, this phone is, you know, $0 months, 6 months. If you have the right one.
Yeah.
I've got the basic plan.
Yeah.
That much, but you know, it's all about that.
So there's no free phones, basically.
But they don't even have the cheap ones out there. That's it off.
Oh.
They ask about it.
Yeah, I don't need all that. Yeah, yes,
So I need phone and the calendar.
yeah. But I don't even use the calendars. Except when I forget what day it is. Okay, what day is this today? I still do everything, write everything. It's just a habit.
With all the cybersecurity stuff here lately, I've started doing that too, not just
Yeah.
relying on Google. I mean, I need to pull up the Google Calendar, it's convenient, but when it's not going to be there, it's not going to
No,
be
it's not gonna be there.
convenient. So, yeah, let's
So
get
I
written down.
write everything down about the
I've become so dependent on that stupid calendar.
it's ridiculous.
I can pull it up here and
No, but yeah.
basically they both apply, but if this goes down or I don't have access to it,
Yeah.
I'm up a creek.
There's a lot to be said for these
Yeah,
appointments.
My wife
Plus you
keeps,
can go back and see what you've done.
Well, you can on your phone, not
Yeah.
your calendar too. You can scroll down.
my wife keeps it.
I use the
like
OneNote, OneNote thing I got on the Samsung, but I
Mine
just
is-
worry about when it goes down or it gets hacked or, you know, something along those lines.
I've still got court books from 2017, which, you know, the legal thing comes up.
Well, at the end of the month, I was writing down, because we've got a paper calendar,
Ooh,
and write down everything up there.
Yeah.
But if it popped up in the middle of the month, it didn't get on there, so.
yeah. Yeah, you have to keep it updated, and so many things come in all the time to do. So it's a-
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners, Amanda, the Planning Director. It's not Ben Hamel here. He's our environmental technician. You don't get to see him much, so I just thought I would re-point him out. So we're here to talk about the LEPP, the Local Environmental Protection Program grant that we got from KVHE. The treasurer's office confirmed this morning that we have received the funds, so they are there waiting for us to dole out to the public and get spent, so we're happy to hear that this morning. So what we have to discuss with you folks now is the application, the information sheet, and the application, and kind of the review process that we're thinking. If you remember, it's pretty much up to the jurisdiction how we want to get the information from folks and also evaluate how much we want to give to folks, all of that. So that's what Ben and I have been crunching on for a little bit. Just a quick reminder, it's a $50,000 grant. It goes to the end of next June. It's for low to moderate income residents within Riley County for assistance with repair and replacement of failed wastewater systems. Now that can be their full system, their tank, their lateral field, or just components of it, a lid or an inspection board, that kind of thing. So it runs the full gamut, having to do with the wastewater system. We can also include the materials and labor to connect to a public water system. If they have a failure and they're within 400 feet of a public system, our code does require, if feasible, to connect to that system. So we can help with those costs, not the connection costs. But we can help with the materials and labor to lay that pipe essentially. Another quick reminder, we can cover 85% of expenses for total household income between 134% and 200% of the 2023 poverty guidelines, and then 100% of the 133% and below. So what we have here, again, is an informational sheet and then an application that will be handed out to folks, have a cancel of failures that we've had for a while that those folks have told us that they cannot afford to fix it. So we will send this information straight out to them. Now it's going to be up to them to submit, and we don't know for 100% that they meet these guidelines, but we're going to go ahead and just send it directly to them, and hopefully this will help them get their system fixed. So again, we have the information sheet that outlines the process, kind of outlines what it's all about, outlines the process, and kind of how we're looking at everything in the application will be attached. So we're basically ranking, of course, by applicant income, need, and severity of failure. Again, KPHE within the income limits that we talked about, the 2023 poverty guidelines, it's really kind of up to the jurisdiction how we want to dole out funds and how we want to, get folks to apply. So this is what we've come up with. Other jurisdictions have done, a cap of, I'm just pulling out a number, 5,000 for each person. Others have done, we'll just give you the full amount. We're trying to kind of find something in between. We don't want to have a limit and then we don't, get the chance to give all the money out, but we also don't want to say, we'll just give you the full amount and then we only help, 2 or 3 people. So it's really finding that balance between helping as many folks as we can and kind of the severity of the failures. That's kind of what we're looking at. So surfacing sewage, that's the most severe failure. That's the biggest public health emergency having to do with wastewater we could have. So if somebody submits to us, we have surfacing sewage, that's a lateral field failure. It could also be a tank failure, crack, that kind of thing. That's going to take a priority. Surfacing sewage is a priority, regardless of a grant or not. It's always a priority. Failed lateral field, you can have a failed field or a failed tank without surfacing sewage, but those are definitely pretty high severity of failures as well. And then lateral field components, and then septic tank components that we talked about, your pipes and your inspection boards and your lids and things like that. Stuff that's important to fix, but maybe doesn't quite rise to the same level as something like a failed field or certainly surfacing sewage. Of course, the total income, if you fall below the 133%, you are going to take priority. Just again, that's the bigger need of the income. And then need in general in terms of your household. We do ask for age, number of members in the household, and then age of each. And that information is important because that helps us determine you have members of the vulnerable population living in the home, like the elderly, like children, like homebound, things like that. So that information is helpful to collect, again, to get an idea of who's actually living in the home, what the need is, what the income level is, and what the severity. So that's all what we're looking at when these folks submit the applications. We're going to open a 60-day window for applications so that we can take them all in. First, we were gonna do a first come, first serve, but then that same problem comes up, you know, if somebody says, oh, I need a new failed system and it's $20,000, well, you know, and that might be what we determine the most need is when we get that window, but then we've already doled out that 20,000, now we only have 30, and we just kind of talked about a application window to get as many in at a certain point as we can, so we can rank them and again help the most severe, help the most needy. And then if we have money left over at the end of that 60-day window, we'll open another window and just keep going until we spend all of the funds. So how it'll work is the property owner will submit the application to us, they'll submit proof of income, it's usually a tax return, that kind of information. And then at least 2 bids from contractors. And so we have, of course, the information about what the issue is and then what the cost is going to be. When if approved, and we determine the amount of funding, whether it be the 100% we're going to give them or some variation between, we will pay the contractor directly. So once the work is done, the contractor will submit the reports to us and we pay the contractor. No money will go to the homeowner, it will go directly to the contractor. Now, if we don't do 100% of the fees, of course, then the homeowner would need to pay the remainder to the contractor, but that's how it
How
will
does
be
that
done.
process work?
I'm sorry.
Who takes care of that here for making that payment to staff? I don't know.
That would,
right?
yeah, that would be us, yeah, planning and development. Just working through the contractor's office. So yes, there definitely is a little bit of staff time involved, but nothing too much. And then the entire permitting process is out normal. We have submitted a permit to it. We just running. Here again, as I mentioned, their invoices would come directly to us. We would pay those. Of course, environmental health staff would do the normal inspections, making sure everything is done as per the sanitary code, which is all again normal that we do. The one difference that is required to the grant is the homeowners would need to sign an agreement, basically attesting to proper operation and maintenance moving forward. That's just part of it's a standard form that they include through the grant that we would just have to sign. It's just what we would have to do. So just kind of gives that, you know, awareness to the folks that, you know, make sure you're operating and maintaining your system properly. So here's the application. It's pretty straightforward. We didn't want to make it too onerous, but again, get enough information from the folks to make sure both of them meeting the criteria, but also giving us enough information that we can make an informed ranking, if you will, and decision about the awards. Any questions?
Yeah, Amanda, I went through, I just can't find it. What is the 2023 poverty guideline? What is that amount?
So it's based on number in the household, number of folks in the household, so.
There is a
a
basic number less, you know.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a
there
table
is.
that they use. So. Here, I know it's really hard to see, and I can pass this around if you'd like, but but it's the 2023 federal poverty guidelines. So here is up to the 133%, and again, it's gonna be based on the number of people in your household, that's why we need that information, the number here is the 134 to 200. And again, it's all based on.
You know, say you had 4 people, 2 adults and 2 kids, what would that?
So it's still gonna kind of depend on because how this is broken out is I have columns for 25% through 133%. So when they submit their income information to us, that would determine which column they would fall under. And then you said 4 people, let's say it's 100% of federal poverty guidelines, 4 people. So household income would be 30,000. And that would be the 100%.
100%.
Yeah, so we
Just wanted to get some idea of where that was.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we just use a little chart here.
It's never simple, is it?
No. So,
Okay.
Could you send that to the commissioners and myself, if you would? I think they'd find that interesting.
absolutely.
Go ahead.
So Amanda, so do you know how much money there was available statewide and then kind of how they distributed across the state? And the only reason I ask is being someone that has one of these systems, the last one I put in, which was 15 years ago or so, cost more than a fifth of the total amount we're getting, and so there, I know it has to be a huge need in our community out there for it.
It does stretch out very far.
And it just doesn't stretch. I appreciate what we got and what you guys are doing, but I just seems like there's so much more of a
I think
need
you're
out
gonna
there.
get helping like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, and it is at 50,000, that's the amount that they were giving out, and they did give to a handful of different jurisdictions across the state. I'll just be honest, I don't know a whole ton about it. We were just fortunate that PDH had reached out to, all the jurisdictions, hey, we have this be coming up since last year. And they really kind of helped us with the application process and all of that. So I'm not really sure how they make their, decisions, if you will, or, determinations for who gets the grant. Again, it's a flat 50K. For everybody, but not for each jurisdiction, I should say. But I'm not sure how they make their determinations as to who gets it. So,
And you might run into a situation like in Keith, for instance, if they need lateral fields, they don't have a big enough lot.
yeah, and that's something, Ben had pointed out, if somebody needs, systems these days, I know, like you were saying back 15 years ago, they're much more expensive now. And especially with alternative systems, they can be $25,000 to $30,000. That's why we wanted to be careful and not just say, okay, we'll just, first come, first serve, we'll give you 100%, because then, like you said, we're helping just.
I think you're using this to do repair type stuff, and if you ultimately need a new system, you're gonna have to do something else, because it's just, it isn't gonna work.
Yeah, it is a tough one. It is finding that balance. We were definitely happy to apply for and get this money and do everything we can with it, but you're right, it's a little tough. We want to help everybody we possibly can, and it's just.
And then if it's, if they're below the poverty level, they're not going to be able to pick up the excess dollars, so.
Right. And that's part of it too. Again, if they're below the 133%, they can qualify for up to 100%. And so that's going to be, again, based on, severity of failure and the need of kind of. So it is possible that we could pay 100% of, their costs. But yes, there is a possibility that we aren't able to or don't, and then, they're going to. So.
One thing on the application, it asks the income and stuff, and I assume then you'd have to verify it later, but you don't ask what the problem is and how much it's gonna be. Fix it, is there? I don't see that.
That is a great point.
It doesn't say what the problem is.
Got the income.
Here for a minute.
Okay.
We will get that added. Thank you. Of course, we would still have them, submit a repair permit and the information.
Right. But to go through them, you're gonna need to know
So we
what,
would get that. but-
and they might know, and they may or may not know what their estimate is, but you might know, if we've got this problem, you've got to talk to the contractors, you can get some ideas on the cost.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll get that list on there. We were just so intent on, the process and the, all that sort of stuff. We forgot the obvious things. So I'm glad you put it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we need to approve for this.
Yeah, there is something there, that,
It's just by consensus.
If you're comfortable with how we're going to administer the grant.
Sounds like.
The application, we'll get that little bit of information that you suggest Commissioner to go look at that. And if you folks are, comfortable with how we're going to administer it, how we're going to review. And then the application and info sheet with that one addition, if you're comfortable with that, that's what we're asking for a consensus, so we can get this out there.
Okay.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
And you're up, Elizabeth.
Good morning, commissioners. Elizabeth Ward, I'm the County Human Resources Superintendent, and I'm here with I'm still calling it monthly update. We didn't come in June because of a couple of things. First of all, we were doing the budget and that was really our big focus. And then we had a schedule because of the meeting. So here we are. Let's see if I can get this on the screen. So we're gonna kind of hit June and July in this time period. So for recruitment and retention, not big changes. Still the headcount is really similar. You can see the hires and separations, very similar numbers to what you've been seeing, and then kind of incremental increases for the year. The turnover rate is up slightly. I think we were just under 15%, 14.7 rate last time we reported. So that I think is just something to keep an eye on. I think ideal perfect turnover rate is 10% is what you said, but honestly, that number's been the same since prior to COVID. And I don't know if that's realistic anymore in our workforce. So we've got to give it some time to see what the experts will call like the ideal turnover rate. So we're not that far off, to be honest. Average tenure, 8.8 years, and we do currently have 8 openings, and that doesn't include our interns or our volunteers. So elections has a couple openings, appraiser, counselor, treasurer. Doing some interviews for that today, fire and public works, and we have quite a few candidates for all of these. I would be, just thinking kind of the higher technical skills here are going to be the public works, where we've got that utility technician position, and we've got a facility technician position, which both require some specialized skills. And then the appraiser, as you know, we're trying to ideally build out with an appraiser too, so some experience and training there as well. Not that these other positions aren't probably are key, but I just a little bit more concerned about finding the ideal candidate in some of those technically skill related positions. As far as fire goes, we do have quite a few candidates, and we've had some experience with some of them previously, and we have some applications that are reapplications, so that's great. Russell and I will be meeting this afternoon just to go over applications and try to do a quick review of who will be presented and ideally interviewed. I did want to mention, we talked a little bit about this last month, and so I just wanted to show you about the customer service rep turnover. And we had kind of some comments in other positions too, but this one specifically stood out about our high turnover rate in some of these entry level positions. And I will tell you, I spent quite a bit of time on here because I had this similar kind of perspective that I gathered from you that we had a high turnover in this position, but the facts aren't there. It's because we have so many. So technically, as a customer service rep position, we have 12 positions, and that's generally the treasurer and also out at solid waste. So if you look at that, we have a 0% turnover for a rolling 12 months. And I had to run my report several times, and then I went over to treasurers and I said, is this right? We really haven't had anyone leave in 12 months, and it is accurate. The last one to leave was clear back in on 5/17 of 23, and we only had two leave then that year. And so really we have the average tenure of 5.8, which truthfully is skewed by the solid waste group because they've been there an extended period of time. But we have it's actually really, really good for an entry level position. We're looking really good. And remember, I mentioned that turnover rate ideal is still considered 10%. Sitting at 0, you can't really do that. So just thought you might like to see that. Sometimes I think we feel like we see that all the time, see these positions all the time, but maybe need to look at the overall big picture. Any questions or thoughts? I mean, I was pleased, but also surprised by those numbers. And we can do that at any level of any professional level or by position too. So if there's ever an interest, just to see how things are fitting, I think please let me know. I did, just as a side note, I did mention to our newer person in HR, the part-time person who does the face of recruiting for us, that in my opinion, in my experience, to be a successful recruiter, you've got to find the right people, get them the right job, and they have to stay at least that first month to 6 weeks. And I said, really, anything less than 90 days really is recruiting. We're not hitting the right candidate. Beyond that, then we've got all kinds of things. So that's kind of our goal, is trying to get people who are the right fit for the right job with the right skills in with the right managers. And sometimes, we have to think about that fit. So it looks like they're doing a good job over there. Performance and development. Right now, we are doing the supervisor training for Riley County. So as you remember, you approved the Highly Effective Managers Program. We had the kickoff in July. It's 12 monthly meetings. We do have 12 employees participating in 3 different departments. And so we had, like I said, just the kickoff. We'll have another one coming up in the beginning of August. And so far we've had some good participation. There's generally a chapter to read and some homework to do in a workbook, and then the 90-minute interactive discussion. Let's see. This, I think, is a really fun event that is going to be impactful for our employees. So Gary with Extension reached out and asked if we could do another financial, we could support and do maybe together another financial wellness course. We had done one last year, and Gary's just very intelligent, very knowledgeable about all these different things. And at that point, I think it was investing specifically. And so now he wants to focus a little bit more on the generalities of financial wellness, which came out of a conversation with a parent of one of our employees. Just talking about what new professionals understand about financial wellness and how to manage their money. And we all know that that is one of the signs of retention, right? If we can keep people financially stable, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they make more and more money, but they learn how to balance what they spend with what they earn, and they feel like they have stability in their life. That helps them be great employees. So on the 13th and 14th, Gary's going to present, and HR is going to provide brown bag lunches, because we're going to do it over the noon hour. So it will be on people's personal time, but hopefully having a little lunch incentive and some financial wellness information. We're hoping to have 10 to 12 participants at each. We're going to take it to the Public Works. So we'll do one here on this campus and then one out at Public Works, which we also hope will have some good. Excuse me.
Can you drink water? There's a couple.
I don't know.
Awesome.
I don't know if you guys remember that the last time I had a little coughing situation going on there. Yeah, excuse me.
I thought I could make it until the tour, but I gotta go. I'm not feeling good. I thought it'd be fine. Just skip the tour, but I'm not. I'm not making it.
Okay. Hope you get feeling better.
All right.
So Employee Day, I don't really necessarily have anything new to share, but we do have that all team afternoon, team building confirmed. The topics are confirmed, personality management, inclusion, and high performing teams. And there's quite a few different sessions that kind of go along with those topics. All right, compliance. As you know, we passed the new discipline action and resolution processes. And so we've been meeting with all of the supervisors in each department to go over that process, really beginning to end. And so how our progressive discipline works, what the forms look like, how we partner with HR and legal to make sure that we are compliant with our policies. And that's been going really well. I think some of our supervisors, maybe have been, had these conversations with their department head, but never had formal training on how to make a transparent process. Then we also are working on a CDL commitment agreement. We do currently train CDL in-house, but we don't necessarily formally ask any time commitment from those employees that are getting the training. And so we're working through that. Clancy and I and John and Alvin are working through that together. Title VI policy is still on my agenda. We have a draft of Title VI policy, but it has not been finalized or approved by commissioners. It is something that's required by the federal government, anything that gets DOT funding at this point, and several other organizations do require that we have a policy statement and a process for that. We were notified that the unemployment insurance rates for 2025 have gone up. They are now 0.03%. We were at 0.01% for quite a few years. And we had not seen an increase in my tenure. So I was a little bit interested to see why that had occurred. In the private sector, a lot of times that'll move around quite a bit based on your response or how many unemployment insurance you receive. This actually was just a across the board. Our industry, our section had an increase, and so it wasn't specific to Riley County. Still minimal, but just so that you're aware. And then we are also working, this is something that has become important in the last couple of years, but KCJIS requires specific background from anyone who has access to community corrections, the county attorney, or the district courts. And so we've been doing that a couple different ways over the past couple of years, and we don't have a formalized system. And really, most counties don't have a formalized system because only certain people can see the information, and yet we're making hiring decisions on it. So we've been working with Barry, Kevin, and Megan's staff to really kind of formalize a process so that we can communicate to the candidates what's being decided and how that's being decided. And they have an opportunity, if there's information that's incorrect in either the KBI or the FBI information, they have that opportunity to go out and appeal that. We also are working through department head residency. We know that was approved in 2018. We've got a couple department heads or departments that have at this moment are not in compliance, so we're working with them on that. And we also are making sure that we're clearly communicating it. We found out or were made aware that it's not physically listed in our new manual, so it will be listed in the updated manual. We have made access to the resolution to everyone. It's in the W drive, and then we've also went through every department head position description to ensure it's listed very clearly and boldly on the first page. And it had been listed on a lot of them, but some of them it was kind of buried down underneath and just different things, and so we want to make sure that that's just transparent. And we are still working with the volunteer firefighters for their handbook acknowledgement, which is a little bit of a process because they don't all use Velocity and they don't all use like desktop computers. A lot of them just do everything on mobile. And so we're working through that with the team there. Budget wise, we are working with the county council transition. You guys are well aware of that and our timeline on that. We do have the deputy position advertised and have started to review applications. Community corrections director, the search has also began. We had an internal opening until last Friday, and we do have one internal candidate at this point, and so we will be communicating that to you. The deputy fire chief search is also being conducted right now, and we have, like I said, a number of candidates for that position as well. And then I'm so happy to announce that we do have an acceptance for the APRN position, which is a key position. And the last time we filled it was very difficult to fill. We had some really great candidates. I wouldn't say we had a large number, but we had the candidates that we had were really great. And interestingly enough, had for the most part having their residency or their internship hours here with Terry and had a really positive experience. So I thought that was a feather in her hat as well. So July, we're looking at filling those roles. We've done the disciplinary action training and we've got to continue to do that. So we've got all 15 departments going through that. Health insurance benefits fair and the 3-year contract. You guys will be seeing a new 3-year contract coming out for you to sign. And then, of course, we're working with Amanda and the Budget and Finance Committee on strategic retreat planning. So we've been looking at just confirming location and meal options. We'll have some reports for you on that very soon. In August, we do kick off the United Way Fall campaign. So that'll start on August 5th and a lot of fun events. So hopefully everybody will be able to participate and have some fun while they're doing a great cause. Strategic planning retreat. And then we are adding a feature in Paylocity, which we currently have, but is not being used by supervisor departments. So several of our departments have skills requirements or certificate requirements, and they've been tracking those in whatever manner, maybe a spreadsheet or maybe each individual employee. And so there is an opportunity to track that in Paylocity. And so we've done it. We've started a trial program with 2 of the divisions in the health department, and those 2 supervisors have taken on that role and are working with Michelle to make sure that they have access, they can load things, it notifies, just working through all of the kind of the kinks of the software system. All right, and we do have job fairs coming up already. So it's almost August. In August and September, we'll be looking at definitely K-State, Washburn, and we've got a couple more on the radar that we'll be you'll be looking at either attending or sending information to. We also are going to participate, it's not listed on here, but on August 8th, the KEMSA their or their convention conference will be held in Manhattan. And so David Adams has secured a table for us. So we'll be putting information out about our opportunities in EMS at that emergency management convention. Benefits fair and employee day coming up. So that's the crux of what we've got going in HR this month. I don't know if you have any questions or anything specific you'd like more information on. Not hard to stay busy in HR. So, all right, thank you very much, commissioners.
Time for John Ellerman.
Good morning, commissioners. John Ellerman, Public Works. Don't mind, I'd like to start with it. Courthouse Plaza window. Since Bruce is here and I don't expect that to take a very good discussion. So you guys, board has asked me to look into the window. I asked to hire a consultant. Bruce has been involved in these since 2010. It has some information there, so he has submitted a letter proposal to do the project, take on measuring, get make sure we have the right windows in the right place, and put together good documents for this project. And for a cost of $37,475. If the board agrees to do that, then we'll draw up an agreement, a contract, and we'll get it in front of you to sign.
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need
Get a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd make a motion to approve Baker McMillan Architects for the Courthouse Plaza East Window Replacement Project.
Second? It's been moved and seconded to enter a contract with Baker McMillan for the Courthouse Plaza East Window Replacement Project. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Coordinate with John because there will be some disruption in the building as we have access all the locations for the organization.
Now you tell me.
We're fine on the election.
Yeah.
We're fine on the elections floor.
Yeah, that's good. That's better.
Are you?
With
I'm
the
sure,
windows.
I'm sure Gary and everybody will get it figured out. We'll be good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it.
You don't want to put any more windows up there, do you?
No, the
That's
ones we
good.
got, we appreciate.
That's the reason we're looking at the window.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I knew that would be the domino effect once everyone saw how
Oh,
good
sure.
they looked and that you could actually see out of them.
True. Yeah, I'm not arguing with that. It's a good thing. It's well much needed and it's long overdue.
Yes.
So my next topic today, we've had some residents come in and use the Sequel Dog Park in Willow back and had some concerns about grass or lack of, no shade, stickers and other things that could maybe improve the dog park at Sequel. We looked at a number of different things. I wasn't sure what to necessarily put together without maybe designing or planning something. Budget does not have enough money to do much of anything out there, except for maintenance that we run. We may be able to throw in a little bit of something here and there, but not some of these higher dollar items that I think. What I gathered out of that conversation was shade and some more grass or a better surface than mostly dirt when it's a dry weather. There is no irrigation out there. I think the water line runs down this street here. There may be water there, but there's no electricity fairly close, except for closer to the arena. So
Yeah, grass, you'd probably have to use like a buffalo grass or a native grass, something that doesn't need a lot of water.
pretty heavy duty hardy grass.
Yeah,
No matter what we put out there, we'll need water, especially to get
to get it started.
established. So there was a number of things. They kind of looked at putting a sprinkler system in, running electricity over, tapping into the water and getting the meter. We're looking at maybe 30,000 to run water to sprinkle that property. And part of maybe wanting to do that is separating that area to let one side established while let the dogs on another side and vice versa, and then maybe even separating small dogs and large dogs.
Yeah, that's really needed out there, the separation, and yeah, I was thinking you could rotate.
So that's some part. So then, you know, there's some fencing involved in that too. The shade portion of it, we kind of looked at a number of different things. We can do a small shelter, like picnic shelters that we have in other places. There's some benches that has its own little shelter to it. Some of those things run between $5,000 and $40,000 or so, depending on what we put in there. Trees, we can plant trees fairly reasonable. They'd be small, take time to grow, and then keeping them fenced out or and water, keeping to keep the dogs off of our own. So I think I'm kind of more here to take your suggestions, your ideas, what you want to do, direction, and where we come up with a little bit of money. The only thing I can really think of is we budget a little bit or we put it in CIP. And if you, wherever your priorities lie with CIP, if building side, how much you want to share with everybody else after the buildings are decided. So. Market looks better if we now today it does. If we go to the street view, for some reason it has a little better stained grass.
Yeah, so yeah.
More updated pictures, I think, is what came from street view than the areas, but still a lot of bare spots. We do have a couple picnic tables, some line of trees out in the back. Like I said, not many people really go back towards the back. And up in the front areas where I see a lot of more hanging out up here at the front. Back in back.
Would you put a shelter? You'd probably have to have a concrete base to put the shelter on, or could you put it or have grass and sand or something like that?
You could do that. I think I'd like the concrete base that you do your maintain the grass around.
Yeah.
But if you would, when we establish or when the grass is established, it just makes maintenance a little bit easier.
Let's see.
Go ahead.
You knew Rod Meredith, didn't you? He's our old Parks Director. When we actually was a Parks Director position, it wasn't directly under Public Works. He always told the commission, I'm talking about this just because we're gone through our budget process. And Rod Meredith annually during his budget presentation would say, I understand parks, they're not statutorily required. Very few counties even have parks. He would say, I understand it's low on the priority list if you want to cut to keep taxes low. In light of the commissioners asking departments to not fund non-statutorily funded services in Riley County. And many of us that had a little over 8% were required to cut less or around $2,000 a piece in our 3 Cs. And so just ask commissioners to keep that in mind when you ask all of us departments and elected officials to not fund non-statutory things.
I've been thinking along the lines of here, just putting in maybe a little bit of a hardier grass. And, you know, buffalo grass, that probably work, and maybe a few extra trees for shelter. I'm not trying to rebuild the entire thing. I think per capita, yeah, it gets used, but
yeah,
not by everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think probably more people would be using it if it were a park, kind of like Well, the one in Fairmont's park is really nice. So, but we can't replicate that here.
This one definitely is used a bunch every.
Yeah.
There's not a time I drive by there, which I just live across the street, but I don't see a car or two or three out there.
Yeah.
What does the park board say on this? Like, did we have any discussion about this?
I don't think it's been brought up.
Might be a discussion. We're having one in September next, right? Next meeting.
Should be close.
We'll bring it up there just to see what gets
Yeah,
suggested.
September meeting too, I think would be when they start talking about their,
Next year.
the 60,
Yeah.
distribute that fund. the funds.
Mm.
It'd be a good conversation to have.
Ideas on the other part.
Well, so the Parks Department doesn't have anything in the budget to take care of this?
Parks Department budget is pretty lean to do the regular maintenance, mowing and landscaping stuff that we do every day now in time at the fair. It does kind of try to save up a little bit of project money to do things like the island at Keats. Fixing up some other landscape beds, cleaning them out and planting new plants or putting a bench. A little something somewhere else, not a lot of higher dollar.
Well, if you would, like maybe in the fall, so that, like maybe plant some of the grass, where would you get water from? Could you run some hoses from somewhere, and water it,
Water, I think, is up there by the barns.
That's the closest water. Don't you have any more water? Any water?
No, there's no water over.
Even the city's got their water shut off to the ball fields at the moment. In light of construction.
Not doing anything yet, though. Haven't seen any activity over there on the ball field.
Yeah, I don't think they've approved that plan completely, but it's been shut off since early in the year.
Well, the grass looks fine over there. They must have it watered somewhere.
I think the grass looks fine because we haven't had a bad summer.
Well,
But
that's
fixed
Yeah,
to change.
this summer is an anomaly, yeah.
Nature is taking care of that one for us.
But it's being.
They had grass
being used
there,
a
whereas
lot,
here we
yeah.
don't really, I mean, it's bare, you can't.
I'm just trying to figure out how we could get, even actually put in some sturdier grass this fall to kind of help with this. So we can get some money put
We could
together.
oversee it, but I think we're gonna waste a lot of time and effort without having water there.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out where to get some water.
Run a hose across the Kimball from
That's
Daryl's.
an idea.
Ooh,
Water truck.
I don't know. Maybe you can talk to Russell and get one of the pump tanks or something over there.
Yeah, probably sit there and water it twice a day.
Do a couple exercises out there and that'll get it watered. I wasn't actually kidding about that. I just.
There's gotta be a way to get some, at least get some grass put in there this fall.
Typically, once you get buffalo grass to start,
Once it goes, it
stays.
goes,
Yeah,
it stays, yeah. It just needs water to begin with, it's just,
Just
cause I have some in my backyard.
Close the park for a while to let it get established well, will be your
Yeah.
problem. I'll let you tell Russell.
Well, we've got other places that take dogs. I go to Wildcat Park all the time, it's like
Well,
2
and that's
miles.
what I've had comments from employees that know that this is an issue. It's say, I take my dog to the lake
Yeah,
and they live in town.
right.
And I know what you do with your dog, and so.
Well, I do understand the weeds and the blowing around of dirt and dust and stuff out there and the lack of shade. But, we don't have to spend $40,000 in a shelter. I don't think to accomplish that.
I think Charlie Popper said he put up some kind of a shelter, didn't he say that? Right?
Yeah, he did say he would donate. Mhm. He did say
And
that.
also philanthropy on this would
Yes, I
actually be
didn't talk
nice
to
and
Charlie.
silly.
Mr. Potter about that. I mean, I think he's talked to David a little bit, but I didn't include any of this if we get something to donate.
And I'll bet if you wanted a shelter, I know Charlie, he's been businessman. I'm sure he would know a concrete contractor that may donate the
Yeah.
pad too. So if
Yeah.
you really want to make it a cooperative deal, I'm sure Charlie can find someone to put in a modest sized pad.
I'm going to be honest with the improvements that we need to make in Seco Park, the community needs to get involved with it.
Well, yeah, we need
Can't
to,
just be an expectation.
maybe we could, there's no other really dog park in the city.
No.
You know, that's kind of strange because there's a lot of dogs in the city. I know that because.
Well, that's a lot of students and a lot of
Lots of
students aren't going to
dogs.
take their dog to a dog park. They're just going to take it around the block and maybe pick up after themselves or not.
But once
Or
again,
not,
remember,
it's usually-
everyone wants low taxes and it's
Yeah.
not a requirement of the city or the county to
It's true.
provide.
Well, I'm surprised nobody's gone to the city and asked for that.
We struggle.
Oh, they have.
Oh, they have.
Oh, they have.
Oh, yeah, they have.
Heard that one.
We struggle to do an adequate job with just people parks.
Mhm.
No,
And
it's true.
so what's the priority like John started out? And our parks department does a great job and our county parks are great. But the God's honest truth is, commissioners, it's not a statutory requirement. Very few counties have county parks.
And the ones that do gave up on them a long time ago. We're just kind of in a state of a disarray.
Maybe since we have some numbers here to work with, maybe we ought to talk to Charlie and some other people and see what we can.
I'll bet if you talk to Charlotte, I mean, he said he would do the shelter part, the poles and that. I'll bet put some pressure on him to say, hey, Margo said you might be on because he knows me. Find someone that would donate the pad. I'll bet they would.
He might get some nice
Charlie knows all the
stuff. Yeah, he
contractors in
does.
town.
He might be able to get some full grown trees for us too. Who knows?
Oh, absolutely.
Talk to Keith or something out at Bluesville and see.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You've got
That's
some
real
trees. I
big
bet you
trees
could
over there.
get shade, pad and shelter donated
I bet we
from
could.
business leaders in town.
Now, the grass wouldn't be, we
The
just need to
grass-
figure out some water
Yeah.
initially.
The grass, I don't know, but I mean, if you can get water to it, Blueville, the grass,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just text Keith this morning.
Keith,
I just texted him this morning, so.
go talk to him. I can go talk to him too.
Okay.
Is that direction you want John to pursue, talking
Yeah,
to some of
that's
those
fine.
Yeah,
individuals
I'm
about
talking to some people.
donated items?
You know, kind of figure out something about the water. I don't know how we can do that. But try to get some grass maybe this fall.
Maybe if you could, and I think you have, but think if there's any ideas on how we could water grass, if we could get it seeded, you know. That are manageable, since you're gonna have to manage it.
Yeah, Buffalo, you have to wait until probably next spring. again. Unless you have a whole lot of water.
Yeah.
May, June,
Maybe
July.
the
Yeah,
season's
still.
over.
They got, the creative part's gonna get water. Just gonna be able to get water.
Yeah. Be as big as.
I don't think there is. How do they get water out to the animals out
Yeah.
during the fair?
They've got a lot of water out. Well, there's a lot of hoses out there.
Yeah, I noticed that driving.
You gotta watch where you want. Well, at least we have some numbers now. I think the pup turf is probably out for sure.
And they putting irrigation in is a waste of time too.
Yeah. Maybe we can get some grass that doesn't need a lot of water. Yeah. It would be good. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Put some energy, which is good.
10:45, we have an executive session.
We do.
Was that all we have?
Can I go ahead and get a motion to adjourn after that, Commissioner, since we'll just probably disperse from there, I'd imagine. We won't come back here.
Okay.
Okay, don't we need the executive session? Here he is.
Yeah, we'll do the executive session at 10:45, but to adjourn after that executive session. Were you expecting them to come back here after the tour? Or they just,
If you come back here to come back out of it.
okay, okay, sounds good.
Unfortunately.
We can do that. Executive session, how long, Clancy?
Well, that depends on how long they wanna have the tour. I don't know. Don't know how
10
long
minutes.
they- I mean, I'm assuming you're not gonna.
I was thinking a half an hour, at least maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
30
It's only 3 floors, right?
Do it 11:30?
Yeah.
That works for me.
That means we have to be back here sitting at 11.
Correct.
Yes, you
Okay.
do.
Just want to point that out.
But it might help move the tour along.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm all in favor of.
Yeah, me too. All you
I'm
need
gonna
to
be
do-
walking fast outside because I don't want to be outside.
I don't know if you heard Clancy, but Commissioner McKinley went home not feeling well.
Oh, no.
So,
I guess I'll do the motion.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
Oh, man, it's a big one too.
Wordy.
3 pages.
I better learn how to do, I've never.
It's
gotten
like,
the
it's one of
privilege
those-
doing it
It's one of those
before.
scripture readings with a genealogy. You have to go back to the names.
I just did one of those yesterday, so that should. No, we've got to 10:45 to do this.
correct.
You got time to worry about it. Let's see. A little anxiety.
No,
Not-
Oh, I heard you say nothing, but I just figured.
Fine, you never wish John is for.
I have,
Walked
a-
out the room, so I hope it was for me. Good morning.
I have a question for you, Clancy.
Certainly.
In my office.
Uh-oh. Somebody got in trouble. It's not you, it's me.
I hope not. Maybe that's why she wants to go on. No, it's on the break.
No. Um,
Okay.
Walking over. You have time.
all right.
I'm awake. That's all right. These things are, they're junk. $11:30.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I think.
Okay. I'll let you know. Hey, rain on us over there, coming back.
Not be able to deal with that.
Me, crash.
Oh, no.
Greg is okay, do you think? So we catching the flu, or
I don't know.
he seemed okay this morning.
I get the Monday itis all the time, but for some reason don't have it today.
I get it before I come, and then I wake up.
The week's beginning. Okay. Where?
Never is.
No, I'm just. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, agreed, agreed.
It's tender to touch. And let me.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, can you tell me? You can have the record, but I was grateful with all. Okay, but I know
Borrow your motion. I want to scratch out the person who's not going to be there. Just now occurred to me. If I thought of dinner, I'd have gone and retyped it. No. I take back the motion.
You just texted me.
You already did. You beat me to it. Cross off a name that isn't going to be present.
Okay.
Who? Oh, I already crossed out his.
Yeah, I just had to weigh in and scratch it.
Oh, you had to weigh in. Yeah, my scratching wasn't enough for you.
Wasn't good enough.
Okay.
Since I already did.
I've been trying to write a sentence on there. It's all the same.
Oh, yeah. And you saw that I put in and again after the scratching. Yeah.
That's, yeah, yours was good. So I had to modify it.
And I put in the time, 11:30, correct?
Yeah. Sounds reasonable. We'll just have to make a point to be back. Which will help.
11:30 is.
Oh, I hope he's feeling better. Let's just see if I'm correct. I think it's what, about 5 minutes to lock in.
Probably, yeah. It is 10:45.
Okay, I would make a motion that the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners, including Chairman Ford and Commissioner Pokey, with Clancy Holman, County Counselor, and Brian Parker, attorneys for the board, recess into executive session pursuant to the preliminary discussions relating to the acquisition of real property exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act in order to discuss a possible real property purchase by the county. The open meeting to resume in the County Commission Chamber at 11:30 a.m. Rich Varga, Raleigh County Clerk, will be present during the executive session to provide factual information.
I'll second that. So it's been moved and seconded at the Board of Riley County Commissioners, including Chairman Ford and Commissioner Foki, along with Clancy Holman, County Councilor Brian Parker, recess into executive session pursuant to preliminary discussions relating to the acquisition of real property, succession to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, with the County Commission returning to the open meeting to resume in the chamber at 11:30 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. To remain
Well, after we're
After we're back,
live.
so they can see we made it.
We are live.
Okay, I would make a motion that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
Okay, no, second, so it's been moved and seconded that the board come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye. I move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
I'll second that as well. And it's been moved and seconded to reflect the record. No binding action was taken during the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, commissioners. Remember, Thursday is in Leonardville, 6:30.
I might be still in a little bit of a rush, so I'll make it, but might be tight.
Kind of like me last time.
Well, I got a 4 o'clock and I have a feeling it might last a little longer than 5, so it doesn't give me a whole lot of time, so. We'll leave early if we have to from that. So, I don't have anything else. I was gonna get through this week and this heat.
Unfortunately, it might be the next 2 weeks.
Thanks for the good news.
Yeah.
I would make a motion that we recess the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay, well, second. It's been moved and second to adjourn the July 29th meeting of the Riley County Commission. All in favor?
Aye. I didn't say that right.
No, you did fine.
Uh,
Did